So the first app I want to talk about is Fishing Points, and I don't use this one for a whole lot, but what I do use it for, I think it has the best version of going to forecasts and your fish activity forecast. On the paid version, you can look in the future. I don't use the paid version anymore, but we can go back to look at previous versions. And it gives you kind of the ebb and flow of the fish activity throughout the day, and gives you, your major and your minor feeding windows. And it gives each day a rating of the fish activity for that day, so you can kind of gauge how active the fish are going to be, and then make your strategy from there. Next one, kind of limited to the folks who fish the TVA chain of lakes on the Tennessee River, Cumberland River, and whatnot. And that is the TVA Lake Info app. So, and then what that allows you to do is look at the dams that affect that particular body of water, and it'll let you know how much current they're generating, how much they've been generating, what the water levels are. Usually they give like a 2 to 3 day predicted, this is what we're going to be generating as far as current. And next one I use, not one I hear of a lot of people using the way that I use it, and it's not super reliable, but it's not completely useless, and that's FishBrain. So what I'll do with FishBrain is wait for it to open. So what I'll do is for whatever body of water that I'm fishing on, I will go in and set the filter to the particular species that I'm fishing for. So largemouth, smallmouth, spots most often, and you can set it to a time frame. These months or just this month, and it'll give you the catches made during that time frame. And if I'm considering fishing a body of water in a particular area, I'll look at this just to kind of give me an idea of the quality of fish that are caught in that area, based on the fish that people have uploaded and logged on here. It's not foolproof, because obviously there are a lot of fish that are caught that aren't logged on this app, but I still like doing it just to kind of have a starting point for the quality of fish that are going to be in a certain area. Next is one that most folks are familiar with, but if you're not, Navionics. I'm not sure if the app is going away. I know Garmin is doing some merging with their Active Captain app, but as far as I can tell, the Navionics app is still up and working. You can look at depth. You can put on your relief shading to give you a little bit more of a visual picture of what the bottom looks like. And you can, let me turn that off and put on satellite imagery. I don't really use that. You can put in there how much. There are some squirrels over by this tree, just giving the leaves hell, running circles around it. Where is it? There we go. So you can set the chart density, and what that'll do is give you more contour lines. And then you can, if you're considering fishing a certain area, you can zoom in and find, okay, here's a high spot, dips down, there's a low spot. And you can from your phone, if you don't have, a chart to say, if you don't have a sonar that has a built-in contour map, you can pull up on your phone and still make pretty good decisions based on that info that you get off of there, as part of your pre-tournament or just pre-fishing trip planning. And the next one I use kind of in combination. I use Navionics and this one and another in combination. The first is Google Maps, and what I'll do with that is, one, I use it to find out how far of a drive to different boat ramps, because that's part of your tournament planning is what's my drive going to be here versus there. So you can look and find boat ramps. Sometimes the boat ramps aren't actually listed and labeled on the map, and so if you're looking at the satellite imagery, you can find a boat ramp that way that may not necessarily be listed on Google Maps. And I use that in conjunction with Google Earth. As far as the app goes, Google Earth is mostly good for getting a better look at that satellite imagery, to look at shorelines, look for boat ramps, that kind of thing. But where Google Earth is really useful is using it on a desktop, because you can scroll back through various years and different times of year. And so if it's summertime, you can go to that area and then scroll back through the years at different times of year when that satellite imagery is taken, and find one that is during the winter when the water's down at a winter pool, and you can find submerged cover that otherwise, not necessarily visible. But you can't do that on the app for some reason. Next one, another one that everybody should be familiar with, the Weather Channel app, for obvious reasons. For both your strategy planning, you should be watching it, week or two out from whatever day you're fishing, and then also you can watch the radar while you're out on the water. I didn't see it anywhere else in the app one day, and I got caught out as a big storm was rolling in, and I just happened to look at the radar and saw it, and then hit the play button and saw which direction it was moving. I was like, oh shit, I got to get out of here, and took off hauling ass for the boat ramp to get out of there before I got caught in it, because it was going to be a thunderstorm. Next one is the Bass Forecast app. This one's really good. It's a cheap yearly subscription. I want to say it's like $10 or $15. It's nothing crazy. So this one, it'll give you kind of a rating for that particular day's fish activity, whether it's slow, medium, fast. It gives you a bass mood rating. And you can, go forward a few days, I think like up to a week or so, and, find the days where the fish are going to be more active. And then it'll give you recommendations on, patterns to try, top 5 baits, retrieval speeds. App that I think is worth the $15 a year. The next one, I think there is a free version. I use the paid monthly version. It's like $10. I think $10 a month. And that's the Deep Dive app. And this app is awesome. If I had to pick one app on here, it'd be between this one and another one, which is the next one I'll talk about. But this one just gives you so much information. It'll tell you, what that particular, I just fished Guntersville last week, so that's why Guntersville is up, but it'll give you, where the water level is, gives you, the current and then the trend over the past week. It kind of combines a lot of these apps, the data you get from them, into one app. You can go in and it'll tell you where the wind is hitting the most based on the color of the dots. It gives you the direction of the wind, speed, and then you can even like scroll throughout the day and see how it changes throughout the day, and further, fine-tune your strategy. Gives you bait recommendations based on conditions you put in, clear, stain, dirty. You can further fine-tune it by the season, water temperature, whether you're offshore, shallow. You can specifically get recommendations for smallmouth or largemouth, and set the lake water levels. And you even go into the individual lures. It tells you, colors, locations to try, cover to look for, just all kinds of information. How to retrieve it if you're not familiar with that one. I found that super helpful. Gives you different time of day recommendations. You can go in, get weather. It'll tell you, when the major and minor feeding windows are. Gives you first light, sunrise. Tells you where the moon's at. Gives you some more info on the wind activity. It gives you the pressure, so you can look and see, is there a trend of rising pressure, falling pressure, and then also gives you, chance of rain throughout the day, which I guess we don't have any, and it goes out to a week. Whole lot of info. There's also water inflow points, so you can go to the filter and find which creeks have the highest inflow. I hope there aren't people behind me. I'm not gonna look. If there are people behind me, them. We'll just let this be weird. Best areas. So also gives you recommendations on best areas to try. And then usually it'll give you like a list of, these are the lures to try. There it is, tournament patterns. So go in, gives you, this lure and color, look for the structure around that cover, kind of thing. And then the last app is the Garmin Active Captain app. Now this one can get a bit pricey, but I like this because you can look at sonar imagery on it. So you can look at the bottom of the lake and find hard spots that you otherwise would have to spend time graphing around to find. See, like right there, you have little hard spots, and I use this at Guntersville, and I found fish on little isolated hard spots that I otherwise would have had to been graphing around for a hot minute to find. And this can kind of narrow that search down. You can drop pins on on your phone on the app, and then it will sync with your chart. If you have a Garmin Echo map, I'm sure it works with the other ones. I don't know what models though, but I have an Echo map, and so it will sync those points that I dropped on there with my chart plotter there. And additionally, it will also allow me to drop pins. If I say I'm side scanning somewhere and I see, submerged brush pile, rock pile, something, I can hit my side scan, drop a pin right there on top of it, and then that transfers over to my map, which then also syncs with the app on my phone. So then I can, look at this later on off the water at home without having to come out to the shed, fire up the graph and that kind of thing. And it's just been super helpful. You can also set it to, look at relief shading, all the other normal things that you can get a lot of the same functions that you get out of the Navionics. And I think that's what Garmin is doing, is kind of consolidating everything into the Active Captain app over time. So I think this app is great. It is a bit pricey to be able to do that stuff. They have different subscriptions, and starting at like $100 a year, you can get different regions, or you can get the entire continental US, and I think it includes like Alaska. Those are the apps that I have found to be the most helpful since I have started bass fishing. And if you have any that you use that I missed that you think would be helpful, please drop a comment, let me know. I would be happy to try it out. So, thanks for watching.